Hey everybody, Nerdy Transformed here again, and today I'm reviewing the Transformers Titans Return Deluxe class, Hardhead, with Furos, as he's called. I'm just going to refer to him as Hardhead, because I don't really care much for the Titan Masters. Nothing wrong with them, they're just kind of whatever character they are in their bigger form than me. Interestingly enough, the head move's actually based on the toy, the original G1 toy, where he has the faceplate right in the cartoon where he has a mouth. So Hasbro's kind of reversing things from how they normally do it, because normally it's Takara that makes ones based on the G1 toys, like their how their Ultra Magnus was compared to the Combiner Wars one. But I guess they're doing whatever they feel like. So Furos is your typical Titan Master. Although his face does not have a mouth plate, he has an actual face. But you know, usual thing. Arms go up and down, legs and knees can't separate. Usual thing from a Titan Master. Hardhead himself in tank mode has a few pegs on him. There's two right at the front here, where you could have a Titan Master stand at the front. So he could stay on top of a tank. Or there is one back here near the cockpit as well on both sides. There are also pegs actually on the inside of this little part here. The cannon actually opens up. And you could have a Titan Master sit inside the cannon, as if he's controlling it separately from the cockpit. But there's also, interestingly enough, pegs on the inside of this little flap here, so you could have yet another Titan Master standing up here. Although I can never seem to get these pegs to work. I have yet to get him to actually stand. There we go. Oh well. I'm standing for a second, and then my finger touched him. But yeah, we're going to close that back up for now, because the real place we're going to want to put Hardhead is inside this little cockpit here. Drop him in, have the back of his leg peg in, and there you go. So yeah, he's very much accurate to his G1 appearance. I don't think we've really ever had like a classics Hardhead. I mean, we've had third-party offerings, of course. We've had there was a Universe figure that was using the Universe Onslaught mold. And there was apparently originally going to be some kind of concept to use Warpath's mold as a retool for him, but that never really got released. So yeah, this is our first like real brand new Hardhead. He does come with a gun that really only pegs into his cannon, so you can have that going. And it's a pretty cool looking tank. It's very different from any other tank. I'll give Hardhead this. For as many tanks we've had, there's no other tank that looks like his, really. Very much like a futuristic Cybertronian tank. It's got treads with fake wheels under it, of course. Two in the back here, and in this middle one right here. And underneath you see all the robot junk. Although, to be fair, it does not look as much like robot junk as usual. He actually hides most of his robot kibble pretty well. And I really like the colors. This is a really nice green, and the beige looks good with it. The cannon can move because it is on a hinge. So and there's two hinges back here. So where you can have it turn, and you can also turn it because it's just pegged in. So you have that. So you can get like adjusted movement to shoot in different directions. Nothing else really on the tank really moves at all. So for size comparison, they're next to Combiner Wars Prowl. And of course, only your tank we got in Titans Return. So you see your usual deluxe size. But other than that, there's not too much else to him, so let's get down to transformation. Go ahead and get Furos out of there. I'll go ahead and remove this gun. And you can actually leave the cannon attached if you so wish. So, let's see, unpeg the front here. Go ahead and rotate them down. You can go ahead and come inside and always hate this part. Get the hands going. There we go. It's not just the hands that flip out either, he actually kind of flips out part of his wrist too, so I guess that's to keep the tank treads looking less like arms. And you can go ahead and extend these to make them look more like arms. Next, come to the bottom, go and flip this panel up, that'll form his crotch plate, I guess you might want to call it. The legs are actually locked to underneath the cockpit, so you actually have to untab them from the bottom before you can grab this whole piece and rotate it around to flip over the front wheels. And the legs come down, the treads come down double hinges to form his legs. They do peg into place, although they don't hold together the best, they do wiggle apart pretty easily. flip the feet out. Then come to the top here, and this whole panel will flip down, and then the cockpit will flip onto the back, and it will actually tab into there. From there, right into this part right here. He has a butt tab apparently. Go into the cannon, bring it on up. Give him overshoulder cannon, and this actually, if you look at the back, slides over. It's on a little slide here. And that gives enough room to put his head on once we get him standing. And we're going to take Furious, of course, the usual Titan Master transformation, flip the legs in. I like to turn the little Titan Master head around. And just pick it on there. And there you have Hardhead in his robot mode. Let's go get size comparisons out of the way. Here's Hardhead next to Combiner Wars Prowl, who's been kind of my go-to size comparison lately. Just because I'm sure everybody has at least one version of this mold due to all the combiners. And once again, here he is next to a current Legends, just to give you a good idea of his size. So he's your typical Deluxe size, let's put it that way. Get these two out of there. Hardhead so far is probably still the best Deluxe, and probably one of the best Titans Return figures there are. And yeah, as a Deluxe, that's amazing. I don't have any leader classes, I don't know if Blaster or Soundwave might have knocked him off that pedestal. But even some of the Voyagers, he's still better than a lot of them. The only one who comes close for me really is Mindwipe and Alpha Trion. And I think I might like Mindwipe more, but Hardhead has more articulation, so kind of depends on what you prefer there. But I really like how he looks. I love how he looks like he's made of parts of the tank, but kind of like how his tank didn't really have a lot of robot kibble. He really doesn't have a lot of tank kibble. I'm not counting the cannon as kibble because it's a weapon. Really, the only kibble he has is just the cockpit. So that's pretty nice because the front of the tank became his chest as well as the top of it. The tank, all the treads became his limbs. So yeah, he uses up most of that for a bulk amount, give him a pretty good look. He of course still has his gun, so you can have him hold that. There we go. Which I believe is actually pretty close to how one of his G1 guns looks. Not perfectly, but close enough. Oh, you can't hold it all the way down because the back of it does catch onto his arm there. So if you want him to have it holding all the way down, kind of have to angle it a little bit. But you can get that going. Or if you so prefer, you can also detach the cannon from up here and have him hold the massive cannon in his hand. Which looks a little ridiculous in his hands unless you have him like kind of double holding it like this. But it could be good for bigger figures. But I just leave it up here. You can also have it aiming up a little bit. So yeah, he's a pretty nice figure. I like the colors on him. I like him a lot more than the Japanese Takara, like Legends version. They look pretty nice, but I like the mouth play. I like the beige they chose here instead of that bronze beige that the Japanese version has. I just like the colors in this one a lot more. It looks pretty nice. The only thing I might complain about is the arms do look a little odd from the side. Because you have the bottom part of your arm further back than the shoulder. But that's just an aesthetic thing for me. Not everybody's going to be bugged by it. And I do like how the wrist piece is kind of flipped out with the tank treads to give him more of a hand look rather than just a hand sticking off the tank tread. Gives him more of a solid looking arm. So, articulation. He has the typical Titan Master movement. It is ball joint technically, but it only can go so far with the up and down movement, mainly to kind of give him like this confused or like, huh, look. But he can look all around just fine, and it's a pretty tight connection. I can hold him by the head and not have it fall out. Well, it's starting to work its way out, but you get my point. He does have ball jointed shoulders, but because how the shell works, it can only go up that far and that far down. But you do get full 360, and for outward movement, you can just use the transformation hinge. So, still get plenty of movement. You do get a swivel. You do have double hinged elbows, but again, because of the shell, you can't do too much with them. But you can get a good 90 degree, a little bit more 90 degrees out of them. Kind of depends on how and where you use them. These pegs actually get in the way a little bit. You do get a swivel at the hand, So that's good. Not many Titans Return figuring out swivels. Although in return, he does not have a waist swivel, which Mind Wipe does. Ball jointed at the hips, swivel. Oh, he is still doing this thing that I noticed a lot of figures lately have been doing, where he has like this two-tone leg thing going on, where it kind of keeps swapping color. Or the top of the hip is the same color as the below the knees, but then we have this other color here just to kind of break it up, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, swivel and knee joint, typical stuff from Transformers. Nothing amazing, but yeah, it works. I'm not expecting anything too crazy, so it's pretty nice stuff. I can see why he's a lot of people's favorites. I do think he looks really good. Aesthetics-wise, he fits in well for me. He is a really nice-looking figure. Articulation is really good, especially for Deluxe. And he's actually got better articulation than a lot of the Voyagers, which is kind of ironic. Plus, just getting a fist swivel out of a Deluxe is really rare these days, so I'm really glad they included that. They really didn't need to do that. So overall, I think he's a really cool figure. If you have any interest in the old Headmasters or Titan Masters line, I think he's definitely worth the pickup. You can find them pretty easily. And I don't think he's the best in the line anymore, but I still think he's a really good figure. So, like I said, if you like Headmasters, if you like Titan Master, the new Titan Return line, if you like the whole aesthetic of it, it's good for you. If you don't, I think he's still a good figure. I think he's still a lot better than a lot of the Combiner Wars figures. He still feels really nice. So I highly recommend him. So this has been Nerd Transformed. I hope you enjoyed this review, and hope you have a good day. Take care.